That's a problem in society, or even if you want to get technical, problems with the black community, that we don't yell loud when our men, women, and children go missing in society. We only yell when the news media get wind of it. The reason why I bring this up is because last week the little boy AJ Friend was found in a field murdered by his parents. The local media and national media cover it like this kid was the president of the United States. And I don't mean to be flippant about it, but that's how they treated it. And you should treat it with importance. But when our children or our men and women go missing, people are like, or they make a little negative comments, or it's like just one off of those things. And you sit there as a black person and you saying, don't our lives matter? Hence, Black Lives Matter. This is why Colin Kaepernick and them was taking a knee, because when something happened to us, people make it out to be a joke, or it's just something that just happened and we just got to accept it. But something that's been going on in our community for a minute that I think black men should be concerned, well, be really concerned, because the media has done a lot of damage when throwing back sexual assaults and murder back on us. When in fact, there's not a lot of black guys in the community committing a lot of these crimes. A lot of these crimes come from people outside the community. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have any criminals in our community. I'm not saying that we have these sociopaths in our community, because we do. But when you compare them to other communities and how they've been doing things, our community don't compare. But the thing is, if you take the media, whether it be print, televised, radio, and now internet, you'll think that black men are the serial killers of the world and the rapists and child molesters of the world. Now, I was a baby when they discovered John Wayne Gacy and what's his name, Ted Bundy, Zodiac Killer, all these other people, or wasn't even born. But growing up, you hear these stories about like Charles Manson and them, and in the way the media sort of romanticize these guys. And this is why I think it's been an uptick in this. Now, maybe back then, before I was born, or back in the day when our parents was kids, they was probably the same amount. Maybe because people didn't cover it like they did, or people just felt that it was just too much for society to understand. But I think now there's a level of romanticism and there's a level of arrogance and apathy. I mentioned in my other video, there's a sister that was a postal worker. Back in October, she called off. They said she was 6 months, maybe 7 months pregnant, if that. But she was pregnant nonetheless. She called off from work, and they got her walking past her car, walking towards a bus stop, and nobody heard from her since. And you have to ask yourself, did she disappear voluntarily? Was the person she involved with kill her? Or some random person killed her and dumped her body somewhere? The reason why I bring this up, because over the last 6, 7 years, there have been black bodies, females, young and old, whose bodies have been found all over the Chicagoland area. Bodies who've been chopped up. Bodies who, and you come to find out that some of these people wasn't even from the Illinois area. They're from other states. And this is not the first time we heard about this. If you guys remember, I think Whoopi Goldberg had a TV show on TV One that nobody surprisingly didn't watch. What got me about missing or murdered victims. You know what I mean? And then they had a theme of the serial killer in California that was targeting nothing but black women. And the media ignored it. And every now and then you might get somebody in the media who might mention this, that no, the media is not focused. And you have white folks even say, if it's not blonde hair, blue eyed, or a white woman, or just a white person, they're gonna ignore it. And with us as the black community, we dealing with criminals in the community already, but you got people coming in and out of our community. And I stated before, when I was a manager, crew member, and became a manager in the fast food industry, when I was working my way up, I was in high school, leaving high school, or those weekends where I was in high school and I stayed late to close, you see people in our communities that you know they live in the community. You know, in the communities either they was out to go try to find some drugs, trying to find somebody to have sex with, or they was acting and killed somebody. I'm being honest with you. And I mean, when we go into communities, we might even live in these so-called predominantly white communities, or what they perceive as, we get pulled over, we get followed. They don't. Y'all might remember maybe about 7 years ago, if that, this guy walked to this housing complex, and white guys started shooting people. They saw him earlier, but nobody paid him any attention. So I guess he figured I can come in, just came and start shooting people. You and I can't go into other communities and pull that, because they're going to say, well, I saw this black guy, he was driving this car, he was dressed this way, blah, 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 blah. But in our community, people come in and out. This is why you have these missing women, these little girls, little boys, and men. I remember, I've said this before, it's this running joke in our community. When Daddy went to the store to go get some milk, and he ain't seen him since. A lot of times, your father never made it to the store because somebody who didn't live in the community, or somebody had this killer instinct, did something nefarious. You'd be surprised. These forest preserves, these parks, these sewers, people remains are being found there all the time. And I hate to think about some of these rivers and creeks and whatnot. I hate to really, I'm telling you, the amount of people that have disappeared in this country. I remember my dad was telling me when he was a kid, and I've mentioned this before, but I mention it again. When he was growing up in the K-Town area, and they grew up maybe a 10 or 15-minute walk, depending on how fast you were walking towards the border between Chicago and Cicero. Maybe about 6-7 minutes by car, if that. But they remember blacks not being able to go into Cicero, but whites came over into the K-Town area. And you had those crooked cops that used to mess with young brothers and sisters, mostly young brothers. And they would drop them off in the heart of Cicero or Berwyn, and you got to do everything to get your ass back to Chicago. And some brothers in them didn't make it. And those stories and people don't talk about it. Most of the people who have done something either moved away or older, and they don't want to be indicted or anything, or they're dead. And the men and women in our community who knew about it, heard rumors, they dare not bring it up, because now you bring it up, people gonna say, what did you see, what did you know? If you don't remember every detail, they'll say you're lying. So it's like, damn, so who speaks to those victims? Then you got women who've gone out to clubs, partying with their girlfriends, and y'all supposed to be all together. Look what happened. Look what happened to that sister that was found in that cooler the year before last. Remember, was it last year she was in the cooler? Excuse me. It was last year. Because people ain't paying attention. You going out to these parties, y'all doing drugs, you out here meeting people you don't know, and you going places and these people snap and do all kinds of ungodly things to you. And in the black community, we gotta be aware that there are people who want to hurt us. There are people who get off and want to hurt people, but they know the reaction to black people being murdered or being kidnapped is they don't care. When a white girl bounces and she voluntarily leaves with a teacher, male or female, everybody is Amber Alert. Everybody, oh my gosh. Black girl is taken by force. You don't hear about it until a week or 2 weeks later, if you hear about it. And I'm not exaggerating this. I guarantee you, in your area, if a young black girl or boy or adult or senior citizen go missing or found dead somewhere, the reaction is going to be totally different. It was a sister that lived in California. Well, I can't remember her name, and I'm pretty sure somebody will help me in the comment section. And I do appreciate the people who do help me with that. But she had mental issues. I think she was bipolar, and she had an incident at a restaurant. And the restaurant was, they got her information, called her family, and the family said, they explained to her she's bipolar. She said, please, we're on our way there. But I guess they called the police already. And they didn't wait. And most people would say, we called the family's on the way. There would at least be some police officer or somebody there waiting, or they would say, okay, this is at this station, da da da. But they took off with the woman. Family get to a restaurant, oh, the police is gone already. They go to the police station, they release the woman on her own recognizance. But wait a minute, why don't you arrest her and take her away then if she was a threat? If the family's already notified they're coming, you should say, well, let's hold on until the family can release her into the family custody so they can help her. They know her issues. They get there, oh, we released her. That's not proper procedure. They looked everywhere for this sister. They couldn't find her. But guess what? 2 years later, I believe that's when they found her remains. 2 years later, on the side of the mountain somewhere in California hills, over in that area. But they said they had people searching. They had police, all that stuff. So I have to wonder, did somebody at the police department kill her, or people didn't give a damn? But the fact remains is she died under mysterious circumstances. There were other women in California they was finding in abandoned buildings, just like in New York and Chicago. In Chicago, for the last number of years, they've been finding young and old dismembered. So one would have to ask, do we have a killer within our community? And we probably do. But I guarantee you, those brothers and them tend to trip up at some time. Because a lot of them have mental issues. They're not playing with a full deck. And people would argue none of them playing with a full deck because they're killers. That's true. But most of these guys that you talk about, your Jeffrey Dahmers, your Ted Bundys, John Wayne Gacy, your Charles Mansons and them, and a few female serial killers that are actually caught or made public, they all seem pretty bright. And when you interview them, you're like, they knew exactly what the hell they was doing. They knew exactly, like Jeffrey Dahmer was smart. He knew exactly what acid to get. He knew what to say if anybody came to his apartment. He knew what to say. John Wayne Gacy, he knew what to say. And we romanticize these people to a certain point. These are murderers. These men and women don't care about nobody's life but their own.
Thanks for the update. This morning, people are demanding answers. They want to know if there's a serial killer targeting black women in Chicago. Later today, activists plan to protest outside FBI headquarters. They want to draw attention to the unsolved killings of more than 50 women across Chicago since 2001. That protest starts at 3 o'clock.
Now, see, you guys didn't hear that. You hear them talking about Jesse Smollett, Kim Fox, but since 2001. Now, you've heard me off and on years mention this about black women being missing, right? And my thing is, and I'm gonna say this to the black men in our community. Yes, we know that some of our women been hard-headed. Some of them don't want to listen. They want to be strong and independent. And if you lay down with a woman and she gives birth and you have a daughter or a son, but especially a daughter, you have to be there to try to guide her. Because I'm telling you, a lot of these women are walking away with guys, whether they be within the community or outside the community. And these guys are forcing themselves on them, or these women putting themselves in a dangerous situation where they can be raped or murdered or kidnapped or even sold into slavery. But the thing is that black Chicago has been saying something about this for years. But people are dismissive of it because it's black people or black women in general. I have sisters, I have cousins, I've warned them. I'm like, look, let us know. We're not trying to get in your business, but today's society, you never know. Well, I'm going out with my friends. Okay, fine. When you come back, you try to get in our business, not that. We're trying to help you. I had a friend of mine call me about 2 years ago. Now, mind you, I'm not intimate with this person. We just friends. But she had nobody she can turn to. Now, part of me want to say, I ain't sleeping with this female. She shouldn't have went someplace with somebody and got stranded. But in the back of my mind, I said, if I don't get up and go help and something happens to this person, I'm gonna be kicking myself. And then on top of that, that person called my phone. I'll be held as suspect number one. So I said, let me get my ass up and go help. When I get down to get this person, she's with a dude. And I'm like, wait a minute. You with this dude, but he couldn't take you home? But he trying to push up on you? Or you done probably gave him some ass in the club somewhere? And I said, and the dude went on by his business. I told her, I said, you know what? You ain't the first female to pull this, but I'm gonna tell you something. You get to the point where guys like me ain't gonna be doing this shit too much. Now people say, "Oh, you're naive." No, it's not. It's called chivalry. It's called I have sisters. If they get stranded and they got a male friend, they call. I want that male friend to come help them if it's feasible. But the thing is that I told her, I said, you can't go out to these places don't have a game plan. And I said, where your females at? Oh, they bounced. But you couldn't call none of them? Well, that was what they see. This is why I say you gotta pick who your friends are very carefully. See, if I'm going out someplace and I know my car's not in the best shape, or I don't have a plan A, B, C, or D, I ain't putting myself out there like that. Because it don't take a few seconds for somebody to do something to you. And when you watch the news, when they talk about police shootings, these random shootings and killings, when they say this person got shot, look at the time of night, where they coming from, who they with. Now, I know you can't stop death. Nobody can. We would like to, but we can't. But you can prevent people from killing you or harming you by using common sense. But at the same time, in our community, we got to be more proactive. If we see somebody don't belong, you make mental notes. Or you pick up that phone and say, look, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, but this is a man or woman or child I've never seen in our community. If possible, can you spend a squad car around? Now, people say, well, the police got so many things. No, the police can monitor. I was in a damn war zone, and when we got radio traffic and we was told to go to this sector, we went in that sector. We went in, we investigated, we got us right back out and did our patrol. We did that in the war zone. The problem is, when it comes down to black people, people don't care whether we live or die. They don't care if we're happy or miserable. And I take that back, they do care if we're miserable. They want us to be miserable. There are too many stories where black women have disappeared and you never see them again. And a lot of them are not murdered. A lot of them are sold into slavery. That's something else we don't talk about. We think about slavery, we think about just white women or Hispanic or Asian or somebody. There are black girls and black women who disappear like that, and black men. But in this case, they talk about black women since 2001. Since 2001. And when black community goes to the police say, there's no serial killer. You know why the police is going to dismiss it? Because they know they'll be liable, because that means they're not doing their job. I drove through certain neighborhoods, and I'm like, why that squad car just sitting there? I was in a war zone, and we drove through neighborhoods. We'll pull over every now and then. We'll get out, walk the neighborhoods, talk to the locals. We'll take mental notes. We go back, we talk about it, take it back, do our reports and things of that nature. But we patrolled. We kept our head on a swivel. That's why I'm here. I can tell you, I'm here today. Yeah, I got hurt. I got hurt bad over there, but I'm here to talk about it because I was going to do like some of these other guys I served with. Just assuming, I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at hand gestures, body movement, people perspiration. You're looking at all that crap. Because if I have as a civilian can drive into the city or certain suburban areas and pick out something, if something don't feel right, and then I go tell a cop and they don't respond, and you go home and hear about it, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. That's one thing me and my father and brother, we're good at. We can spot it real easy. But see, I guess how my father was raised back in the day, as a black man, you had to survive. You had to be watching and listening, looking around all the time. And I think that's something that's missing in our community. This is why I see some of these dudes walk up with this shit. You know, on such street that is known for gun violence. Why your ass gonna be over there at that certain time of day? Why you gonna be going in that particular store? Why right now with technology and stuff, you ain't gotta go to all these different places. There are laws that protect you. Like I tell anybody in our community, if you got a clean record, go apply for your cover and concealment. A fob card, go get your weapon. Protect your family and your home. Protect yourself. Because people are coming in our community and they're killing our people. And a lot of them are not blacks, but it's assumed that it's other blacks. And I want to make that clear. I'm not saying that black folks can't be serial killers or psychopaths. I'm not saying that. But there are people coming in our community committing acts of violence and people trying to explain it away as if it's a random thing. I'm sorry, but some of these things that people are doing are not things that black people traditionally do. There was a time where I sit on YouTube and say, hey, this is what we need to do. Now stop doing that because people start to listen to our conversations. And once they start saying, oh, these Negroes, they doing this, we got to change our ways. No. Right now, as tax-paying citizens, if you live in a predominantly black community that is not getting proper resources, you're supposed to be asking questions. You're supposed to say, why does no squad cars going down these side streets or these main thoroughfares like they're supposed to? Why aren't they driving through the alleys? Because stuff happens in alleys. People gangways or walkways. I'm telling you right now, the Chicago Police Department or whoever police department across the country they could be control our neighbors a lot better than what they do. If they can find police officers put when they get Olympics or whatever these other events, or when they have these basketball, baseball events, but when they come down to our community, we don't have enough cops. Back in the 90s, there was a lot of young black men my age that wanted to go to the police department and clean up our neighborhoods. And Mayor Daley, he changed the rules. And when they realized once we moved on and it was the age group behind us, they changed the rules again. So for a good 25, 30 years, we allowed people to come in and do what we want. And there was a time where people used to be afraid to come in our community pulling that crap. I remember when Mr. Farrakhan had the Nation of Islam, and I remember Mr. Farrakhan saying, if you come in our community, don't live there doing something, we would deal with you accordingly. Other communities do it. Y'all remember that man shot those robbers that was breaking his neighbor's house? He didn't get no jail time. See, we got to start protecting our community. And I know that some brothers, man, what if they're young brothers don't know no better? You know better by the age of 9, 10 years old. Not to steal, not to kill, not to force yourself with somebody. You're doing it because you don't give a damn. Because usually when a person doesn't keep doing it, it means they got away with it. This is why now they're getting young kids to commit murders. Hide behind their youth and stuff. Well, you can't charge their child. They don't know what they're doing. Send them to juvie. Or they send them away for a few years, they be right back out in the streets. Look at the Alpha Windsor kid. He killed 4 people and got a slap on the wrist. And then when he couldn't do what they asked him to do, him and his mama ran to Mexico. And people still ain't mad about that. I'm like, how y'all not getting mad about that? How y'all get mad? But y'all mad about a barely known actor from on the show Empire lying about a crime, and y'all off with his head. Y'all don't. Any other time, y'all don't get mad at the prosecutors and ask for these investigations when obviously should have been guilty. People should have been guilty, or they should have been pushing the case harder. But I digress. I'm sorry. We live in a society where people want black folk to always be begging for somebody to help us. Like I said, in New York, they have people in the various communities, especially in the Jewish community, that police their own communities. They got New York City equipment, the same equipment the police department used. There was a time where black folks, I can't think of the name, and somebody will help me, where brothers took their own shotguns and police their communities to keep the Klan and them from coming in and messing with them. They didn't mess with them brothers. When the Black Panthers came along, they got spooked because you had a bunch of young baby boomers. They didn't call them baby boomers that much at that time, but they had a lot of young men and women, especially young brothers come back from Vietnam. And what did Reagan and NRA and them do? They pushed to change the gun laws. That's why today, when you still see videos today, white guys walking around with assault weapons, nobody batting out. Black guys do it, they ready to shoot you dead. See, they don't want us to protect our communities. But the thing is, what they want the criminal element that exists in every community to terrorize our community. And that's what's been going on for the years. Don't discipline your children when they do something wrong. Don't deal with that criminal when they steal something. Or don't deal with that murder. Y'all let them, y'all take them in jail, do the shit, then send them back out. Well, they out on a technicality. This is your job. It shouldn't be all these damn technicalities. If you get caught committing a murder and you know you did it, you're doing it just because you was evil, not in self-defense, then you shouldn't get out. You shouldn't be able to walk among us. But if you out here killing people and you caught and the police department been denied and know what's going on, the police department should be held responsible for it. And the media. Because there have been tons of people over the years that have said they think it's a serial killer in our communities on the west and south side. And people in the media dismiss it, right along with the Chicago Police Department. People act like black folks can't see stuff. But when you got women disappearing and you don't see a trace of them nowhere, but within the 2 days you can find a dead white kid in the middle of a field somewhere. Come on, man. And then y'all try to say that no snitch. That's the media creation. But then again, there are police officers who have went and said, yeah, man, that guy down the street, yeah, they called you. See, I'm telling y'all, there's a lot of things that we got to do, but we got to think about our community first. But at the same time, we got to make sure that we're watching each other's back. So I'm telling y'all, a lot of these murders, these killings, are people from outside the community. And they know they're going to, the media and the police department are going to throw it back on gangs. A lot of this shit ain't gang related. And I'm not saying gangs don't commit crimes. I'm not saying they can't rape anybody and dump bodies, but some of this stuff is coming from a person that's having free reign in the community, and they know what they're doing. I don't think none of these white supremacist groups ain't taking part in it, because they doing it too. I'm telling y'all better start paying attention to these stories. Y'all better start asking yourself these different questions. And whether you male or female, you better let a friend or family member know when you're going out. I'm telling you, just because you're a man don't mean that you can't go missing and get killed. But I just want y'all to think about that. It's very important that we start calling this out.